All right, we are back on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. How is everybody doing this evening? If you can do us the biggest favor, real quick, right off the bat, if you could hit that like and subscribe button, help us grow the channel. That is the big thing that we are trying to do here. I appreciate everybody who is deciding to spend their Tuesday night with us. We got a little CUSA going on, uh, CUSA action. Got that going on. Got the week that was college football. Got a little side notes on that. But anyway, Richie is going to be joining us tonight. Maybe if we have time for it, maybe we will get to the phone lines. I'm hoping. But at some point we will open those. Appreciate everybody. Just doing some stuff here, getting the link out. Appreciate everybody. Oops, sorry about that, but we are going to get started here in a second. I just have to read. Just getting that done. But I appreciate everybody. Sorry for the lag in the show there for a second, but yeah, so how's everybody doing? Also, if you can do us the biggest favor really quick and hit that like and subscribe button, that also helps us a ton. That's interesting. That is very interesting that did not happen. But yeah, waiting on Richie to hop in. For some reason, my tweet did not go out as planned. So that's not a good thing. But there's that. So give me 1 second. Richie's about to hop on. Waiting on him. But how is everybody's evening doing? Also, if you're watching on Twitter, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. That helps us a ton. Yeah, so sorry I'm a little disoriented here for a second. I forgot to put a tweet out. I am currently doing that. That is the cost of doing business here on the show. Just one of those things. Got that. There is that. But yeah, I guess we can start it off with, before we get into the discussion points, what ESPN has got Texas A&M fined right off the rip. Fined for faking an injury. I guess I can pull that up. I'm not shocked that they have done that. Just kind of how Greg Sankey said at the beginning that they were not going to be playing with this. So they fine him right away, $50,000. And it was from the Arkansas game. Hold on. I am doing that momentarily. But yeah, so Texas A&M walking away with a fine, 50 grand in the Arkansas game. So that is not a good time. But they'll be able to pay that. It's not like that's going to be a deal breaker. Um, that's interesting. Just looking at some spreads and stuff like that. Clemson loses a receiver. Belichick is among Bill Belichick. I know this is kind of NFL-ish, but Bill Belichick is among finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame, the class of 26. Talk about awkwardness. That's going to be awkward. That is that. Hold on. Give me 1 second, Richard. Thumbs up when you're ready, man. But yeah, Belichick has the. Gotcha. All right. Richie enters the chat.
What up? What up? What up?
I just figured get you in here while we can. Belichick among the 12 finalists for the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Texas A&M fined $50K from the Arkansas game. Georgia's Young out indefinitely with a leg fracture.
Ooh.
So there's that. Notre Dame loses an offensive lineman, likely out for multiple games. And I guess we can get into the coaching carousel. Penn State has kicked off the biggest coaching carousel in modern college football, I think, in the last 50 years.
Yeah, it's nuts what's going on at Sad Valley.
I think that where we're at, I guess this we haven't really had a chance to talk about. This is kind of the elephant in the room.
That's that's a big chunk of change.
And I am sure Jimbo is going to. I think here's what I think is going to happen. Franklin's going to have his pick of the jobs. AJ McCarron said on Siskey and McCready, he had 2 bold predictions. He thinks Shane Beamer is leaving South Carolina. Would not be shocked at all.
Yeah.
So Beamer's going to be out. South Carolina's going to be open. Because I watched their show and I didn't even think about this. I did not even think about this. Brian Kelly's got Hog Time coming to town.
Yeah.
He's got Hog Time coming to town. I think he's got A&M this weekend. He's got I got to pull their schedule up real quick. But
Who, the Cox?
No, LSU.
Let me pull them up
because that's what I'm trying to find.
I got it.
You got it? Look at the remainder of games.
That's a gauntlet. That is a gauntlet minus the Hilltoppers.
If he goes,
dude, I see him maybe beating Arkansas and the Hilltoppers.
I don't think they'll beat Arkansas because they're not going to score any points.
Maybe. It's a big maybe.
And Bobby Petrino, time is a flat circle. He's the head coach again at Arkansas.
Oh yeah.
I am not hearing any more ethical debates about Urban or anything like that anymore. I'm not fielding that. Although
Agreed.
Brandon Walker, whenever they did hire Hugh Freeze, he called Auburn the most morally bankrupt institution in the SEC. But that's Brandon Walker for you. But I guess we'll look at the Penn State candidates real quick on that. I think you can cross Signetti off.
Sig's off.
Dillingham's
Dillingham.
off.
I'm really thinking they're going to go after Golish. Something's telling me they're going to go after Golish. He's a Midwest guy.
Since they had that bad outing, since Nebraska had that bad outing on national television, are you out on Matt Rule?
No, I'm not out on Rule. I think Rule's a good coach.
I think Rule's a good coach, but if I'm Rule, I stay at Nebraska.
Yeah, I'd stay at. He's in what, year 3?
Yeah, year 3.
I think year 4 he'll get. Because I was listening to him on another show, somebody else talk about him on another show, and he's bought into Nebraska. They just gotta get the people to buy in with the fundraising and all that stuff.
Well, I know this is just message board fodder, but this was also not reported, but it was thrown out there that if Texas loses another game, somebody just posted on Rebels 247 that rumor out of Texas is they're going to make another run at Saban. This is Penn State's problem. They started this.
Yeah.
No, here's my thing. I think there's going to be a lot of schools that are going to get their feelings hurt this year. Because I don't
why you say that?
You think Kiffin's really going to leave Ole Miss?
No, he ain't going to leave. No.
I don't think so either. I don't think he's leaving Ole Miss. So Florida is going to have to, in any of the top coordinators you're going to want that are making a playoff run, you're not going to get them until after the playoffs.
Exactly.
And the transfer portal could be open and closed by then. Because Florida is basically, in my opinion, their media people is promising Lane Kiffin. If they don't get Lane Kiffin, I broke it down on the Billy Napier thing. The last 12 Florida coaches, technically the only ones that weren't fired, Urban had his health issue, and then Spurrier went to the NFL. Everybody else has gotten fired.
Yep. Zook got fired, and they brought in Urban. And then when Urban left,
they brought in Will Muschamp.
Muschamp, yep.
Then they brought in McElwain. And then they brought in Mullen, and then Napier, and all 4 of them have been fired. All of them have been fired.
Oh,
so
correct.
I think that it's that, and then also we got to talk about this because this is going to be a topic of conversation for people.
And that's the other one.
Has not won an ACC game in like 385 days.
A year and a half, almost. No, it's not a year and a half. That's a year and.
But it's over a year and some change.
But yeah, some change. Yeah.
I mean, he did beat Alabama, but
Alabama. Hey, that's the other thing. How bad is that Alabama loss, or that Florida State loss for Bama?
Well, according to the AP poll, not very bad.
Yeah.
Just look at the top 10. If you told me there was a world that Indiana and Vandy would be in the top 10
I mean, this is a paradox.
I mean, this is rev share at the fullest. This is NIL rev share, judging by Vanderbilt, Indiana.
And the portal leveling the playing field out.
Yeah, because you can no longer
teams.
No, you can't. You can't stack the teams anymore. And Tony Elliott has turned Virginia around.
Yeah.
Preseason, I kind of did too, but preseason, I left Tennessee for dead. Texas Tech, nobody knew what they were going to be. You knew Missouri was going to be solid. Venables had to win, or he was going to get fired. It's if you look at the top 25 now compared to the top 25 the preseason, I'm going to pull up the preseason. We'll just pull up the preseason AP. There is, well, Texas is there. They were number 1. Penn State 2. Clemson, nowhere to be found. Arizona State's still in there, barely. South Carolina, not getting back in. Michigan, got to win out to get in. Florida ain't getting back in. SMU, nowhere to be found. Kansas State, nowhere to be found. No Iowa State. No Boise. It's to the point to where we are teetering on, and then that's not even talking about the teams that aren't in the top 25. You have teams that are on the bubble watch. Ohio State, they ain't got nothing to worry about. Indiana, as long as they don't lose, they're fine. A&M, 7-0. Alabama can take another loss.
Georgia can too.
Georgia can. Oregon can. I don't know about Georgia Tech. Ole Miss can take another loss. I don't think Miami will lose again unless it's in the ACC championship. Vandy is 6-1. BYU is 7-0. Notre Dame is actually the first team on the bubble watch. They can't take another loss.
They can't.
And I'll just do bubble loss teams. Tennessee can't take a loss. LSU's got a gauntlet, and then the bottom three you have is Texas, Illinois, Ohio State, and Michigan. I guess I missed them. They slipped through the crack, but at 25, those are your bubble. You have 4 bubble loss teams in the top 25. So I am purely convinced that this time between the end of the season is going to be the most interesting season we've seen in college football in the last 50 years. There's already 8 openings. This is not the year to fire your coach, I don't think.
No.
Because with the extended... Go ahead.
No, I forgot what I was going to say. No, it came out.
But with the extended playoff now, what do you do? Because it's not like it used to be. If you stole a group of 5 coach, they just, they packed up shop and they went on the road recruiting. It's not that anymore.
No.
In December, they're working on next year's class and trying to finish out the class that the previous staff had. And then part of your staff stays over to coach the bowl game, and then that's that. And then by mid-January, you have the whole staff in place, and you're getting ready for spring ball to figure out what you got. Well, now that's February. You're months and months behind everybody else.
Yeah.
I don't know where else
it's starting to turn into the NFL the NFL off season, like Black Monday. How you know how it always is at the end of the year, week 18 or something. They always fire the coach, or at the end of the year. It's starting to turn into that. It's starting to turn into that, dude.
Oh, I think this is Black Monday on steroids. Because what does the Sunday after the regular season going into the Army-Navy game, the week of the Army-Navy game, look like?
Pure anarchy. It's going to be ridiculous.
Because let's just say Brian Kelly gets fired, and here are the candidates for Florida. I think you can cross Lane Kiffin off the list. I think you can cross Marcus Freeman off the list. If you're Eli Drinkowitz, why would you leave Missouri? They like you there. They're probably going to give you a big extension or a raise. If you're Jed Fish, is it worth coming back there? If you're James Franklin, do you go to Florida, Auburn, or Arkansas if they offer? What's the better job? Or do you wait to see what comes open?
I see. If I was Franklin, I'd wait to see what comes open.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have to make a decision until after the regular season. But for the universities, they have to gobble up their guys.
Mm-hmm.
No diddy. But they got to make a decision. If you're Rhett Lashley, to go to Florida where they've had issues with investment in the program, that I'm the only person probably on the internet that'll be willing to say that out loud. But Brett Key, why would you leave Georgia Tech?
Yeah,
I think there's no reason.
They brought Georgia Tech up from the abyss of the ACC into a top 10 team this year.
And I don't think that is an indictment on Jeff Collins. I think what happened to Jeff Collins was they were not. As soon as they fired Jeff Collins that spring, they invested $60 million into the program after he leaves. And he was trying to take it out of triple option. So all I'm saying is good luck.
Yeah. When did they switch from the triple option?
I think when
2012.
Whenever Collins took over, it was later because I think the guy that replaced Paul Johnson was running semblance of the triple option. But realistically, if you're Brett Key, well, why would you even consider it? Because if I'm a betting man, you're going to get fired, and that's the same thing the last 50 years at Auburn too. Pat Dye had to resign amid NCAA investigation. And Shug Jordan retired. Everybody else has gotten fired. Terry Bowden quit, but you know how that is.
You know where else Terry Bowden coached at?
Clemson? No. Akron.
Yep.
I mean, just look at that. Ranked in the top 10 since the first time since 1947. You mean to tell me that Vanderbilt
they used to be the doormat of the SEC.
You mean to tell me with a little investment in bringing in a couple of coaches, adding some rev share, that they are going to make a college football playoff before Florida and Auburn? The 12 team, I mean. I don't know. I don't know where the bottom falls out on this. It's you are staring a lot of openings in the face. And I'm not so sure whenever they said it today that message board post that if Sark takes another loss, I wouldn't be shocked if it don't get loud there.
Oh, it'll get loud there too. Because who's to say? He's in the same boat. His performance last year in the playoffs semifinal. Franklin was in the semifinal too last year. Look what Penn State did to Franklin. They canned him.
Yep. I don't think that there's any bones about this and I think the days of trying to go out there and get G5 coaches, I think those days are over.
I disagree because I really do strongly think Alex Golish out of South Florida. He's an up and coming name. He's a Midwest guy. He's turned that program around. They beat Boise this year. They're they beat Florida on a game-winning
So
field goal by little Grammatica. I mean, who's to
if
say
you're
they don't go out and get a young kid like that? I mean, young kid. I mean, he's my age, or a couple years older, I think.
okay, if you are if you're Penn State, do you take a run at Heartline? First time head coach?
I mean, they got Knowles.
I know the people in the profession would disagree with me on that, but you got to do something to level the playing field with Ohio State and Michigan.
Yeah, because you're always going to be a little brother to those two.
And well, Indiana,
they hats off to them getting Signetti last year. I mean, I never thought in my wildest of dreams that I would see Indiana at 2. Never.
Oh yeah.
Only on NCAA maybe.
Not
in the real world, Duke.
The only time, the big thing in Indiana for years is can we make a bowl game? And then the next question was, can we make it? Dave's here just says Indiana. I know. Indiana and Vanderbilt are top 10 teams and are probably going to make the playoff. And I'll just tell you,
I think Indiana will win a game in the playoffs.
And here's my thing too. My guy Siski said that he's trying to speak it into existence. He thinks it's Mississippi State bites Texas this weekend.
That's the one I'm going to be keen on this weekend. Siski knows his stuff.
Yeah, and he said it publicly on the show. He's on their show on MPW Digital. He said that he's like, hey, I think Texas loses this weekend and it's at Starkville. I don't know what time. I'll look up the time, but because I'll read what Texas has left. So Texas has got to go at 4:15. They go to Starkville, and then they turn around and play Vandy at home. Then they have to go to Athens. Then they have Hog Time, and then they have to have Texas A&M come into town.
That's Black Friday. Yeah.
If I'm a Texas fan, I'm real worried because Texas could end up 8-4 and out of the whole deal here. And if that happens, that is not going to be good for Sark at all. And here's the Heisman odds.
What say you? Texas goes 8-4. You think Arch packs up and heads to Ole Miss?
No.
Just spitballing.
I think Lagway's going to be in the portal. Nobody from Florida has jumped in the portal yet, which is fascinating to me.
That has, yeah.
Not yet anyway. I would say that they'll see how this weekend goes. If they get they're off this weekend. But I think that whole Florida thing and Penn State and what that whole deal is looking like is going to be fascinating. Because they're just letting Hugh Freeze out there. I don't know what they're doing with Hugh Freeze. They have not. Yeah, that makes sense. But the thing with Freeze is that he's as good as fired. The fans in Auburn want his head on a stick. I don't know. I mean, Elko's not leaving. DeBoer's not leaving. Kirby's not leaving. we can say Lane probably not. If Sark loses, that's going to get weird. If Texas does something very irrational and gets rid of him, I think Kiffin will take Texas if they offer.
I think Lane will stay at Ole Miss. I don't think he'll leave.
I think he'd take Texas.
Why do you think he'll get Texas?
Unlimited resources.
I knew that was coming. It was a rhetorical question.
That's one thing with A&M and Texas that they've got is unlimited resources. And I would say Kiffin will say, give me whatever I want, and that'll be that.
She wrote.
So as the standings going down it, potentially Ole Miss could be open. Potentially Texas could be open. I don't think Drinkowitz leaves Missouri. You have LSU potentially being open. Florida is open. South Carolina. Jeff Lebby could leave Mississippi State. Arkansas already fired their coach. Auburn's probably going to fire Lane. Or not Lane, but they're going to fire Q Freeze. And does Kentucky make a move? Why he doesn't have the pressure. He failed at Tennessee, the Raiders, and USC. Okay. I don't think he failed at Tennessee, Dave. I think he jetted out of Tennessee to go to USC, and I think the way the documentary had it set up, it made it to where USC came out and lied to him about the recruiting restrictions. And I think that is that.
Yeah, after the sanctions with Bush and Carroll.
Yeah, I think the Texas thing kind of.
And the Raiders, he was dealing with Al Davis. Al Davis.
Right, that's Al Davis at the end too.
Drafting Jamarcus Russell, and he didn't want Jamarcus Russell.
He wanted Calvin Johnson, but also, I hate to be that guy. Al Davis kind of had a point. I'm not saying draft Jamarcus Russell, but what the hell's the point of drafting a bunch of skill guys if you don't have anybody that can get them the ball? And also out there, I had Fickle on the thumb line when I did that little deal this afternoon with Fickle and Hugh Freeze. Fickle could be.
What makes you think? Like, do you think Fickle would come back to Columbus and let Larry Johnson retire?
It would have to be if Larry's going to retire.
Yeah, I mean, if Larry's thinking about retirement, what say you that Day doesn't make a call when he's kicked out of Madison?
I almost think that Day probably won't call Luke Fickle. I think Luke Fickle will have to go figure it out. That's the one thing that Ryan Day doesn't get caught up in. He doesn't get caught up in the past Buckeye stuff like the fans do. I don't know. Maybe Penn State will try to hire Matt Patricia if he has interest.
Maybe.
But then again, if they go win the Natty or can play for the Natty, he might get a top flight NFL coordinator job.
Because I think they signed him for what, 2 years?
Yeah, but I think if he completes the season, I think that second year is like one of those buyouts that are, when you get your first paycheck, just pay us. But, the one thing that I'm not agreeing with the Penn State stuff, but anyway, before we jump into that, I think that these are your top 5 guys, top 6. Haynes King has to keep winning. I don't think Gunnar Stockton can win it, and I don't think they're going to give it to a skill player.
I thought for sure that Dante Moore, after they beat Penn State, was in the clear running for the Heisman, and they lost to Indiana. So
No, the Heisman Trophy folks, they get a
it's always a quarterback.
yeah, I think the Heisman should just be a quarterback award, and that's that.
Just be done with it.
What does Dave's here say? I think it's going to be. Yeah, here's the thing. I don't think anybody's going to fit at Florida. Because the expectations plus the roster, you don't know what that roster is going to look like when you take it over.
You took the words out of my mouth, Duke. I was just going to say the expectations down in Florida.
The expectations plus you don't know what the roster looks like.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where that's at. And a lot of people have kicked the Summerall name around, and I don't hate that as a hire. I would like him to go somewhere else other than Auburn, where everyone gets fired, like Florida, where everyone gets fired. There is no more Nick Saban rehabilitation school. And think of it this way. Mario loses another game, they're going to be calling for him.
Yep. I mean, that's what happened to Ohio State, too. When they lost that team up north, all the Buckeye faithful were calling for Ryan Day's head. Now they kind of backed off a little bit. But I mean, it just goes to show you what can happen within not even a season and a half.
See, Dave's here makes a good point. You almost need a fairly good lower level coach to bring a good team with him. That's what Cignetti did. I don't know. I mean, I would think Jeff Brom would start being on some of these short lists. He's great against the.
He's great against the big games. He's won the big games.
Yeah. Does Drew Aller come back to Penn State, or does he just go straight to the draft? That's I don't know.
That's another wild card.
I don't know if you can get a medical.
He's a 6th rounder now. He's no 1st rounder.
Yeah. That's like Southern Miss right now. Charles Huff, when they didn't pay him at Marshall, Charles Huff, I think he should be on short lists as well, because he's sitting at Southern Miss right now at 5-2. Marshall is 4-3, and they are on the outside looking in of the Sun Belt Championship. They did not make the investment into Charles Huff. I don't know what else to tell you on that one. I think that given all things being equal, Charles Huff should be getting more consideration, and also you have Dan Mullen out there. And I think that's why all these people are trying to connect Urban to Penn State. It's all Dan Mullen. He's campaigning for Dan Mullen to get his buddy a big-time job. I don't think people read between the lines on that. And then I'm not trying to take pot shots at the Penn State beat reporters, but trying to say, well, we got to watch Oxford, Mississippi, because they could be out. You're not getting. That's not happening. I'm not even going to entertain asking anybody that I know about that, because they're going to look at me like I got 3 heads. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I guess I don't. I still my hunch is it's going to be goalish.
I guess they did lose to Boise, but Dan Mullen's probably going to win 8 or 9 games at UNLV.
And they're where are they at they're on the what was the Mountain West?
Yeah, they're in the Mountain West. Dave's here is right. The agents are controlling the games. Where do you think they're getting the names from? It's
Yeah.
no secret because when the coaches get paid, the agents get paid. I don't think people follow the money that closely. Also, Jay Norvell got fired at Colorado State. They put Tony Alford on their graphic when they announced that.
For who?
Potential replacements. Tony played there. I wouldn't go. Me personally, I wouldn't go to Colorado State. And he played for Carter's grandpa.
Carter's grandpa, yeah.
And then Jeremiah Smith had this to say. I feel like this team is better than last year's team. I don't disagree.
I need to see more. I don't know. As a Buckeye fan, I want to see them with their backs against the wall. I want to see how they come through the adversity.
The only thing that I'll say about that is I bet that would be a pay cut. Yeah, that might be true. Because I don't think Tony's into taking a pay cut to sit in the big chair. But I don't know what you do if you're somebody like Colorado State in this coaching cycle. What do you do? Because you're not going to get a big-time coordinator. The big schools are paying the coordinators more than you can pay the head coach. Even the position coaches are making more than...
Maybe get a better agent.
Timmy Chang. Also, I don't think he'd leave Hawaii, but he's got the Warriors looking pretty decent.
The old quarterback from Hawaii?
Yeah, he's the head coach there. After Todd Graham completely ran it into the ground.
I saw him. When did he come to the NFL? Let me look him up because I saw him play at a Hall of Fame game.
Oh yeah, Dave, they'd pay up to keep Tony. Ever since Tulsa beat Oklahoma State, they're 2-5. It's kind of bizarre how that worked out, but it's. I look at it and you got really 3 teams in the mix for the American. It's really going to be Tulane versus South Florida, as I think is what we're going to end up with.
South Florida taking the ship.
Yeah, and I also find it fascinating as I'm watching the Miami Vice game here tonight.
I'm watching that too.
I didn't realize Kennesaw State is 4-2 this year after firing. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Dave. After firing Brian Bohannon, that took them into D1, took all the losses, and they got a new coach, and they are rolling. I guess with that being said, I would say that Arkansas State will be open. If you're Arkansas State and Hugh Freeze gets fired, do you call him? At his age, he's got one more run to go through the group of 5 if he wants to. He's got one more shot at a big job. One more. Maybe. And that's if it goes well at the group of 5 level. But the Sun Belt's got better coaches in it now.
Yeah.
Especially if you have Charles Huff sitting there. If Jeff Lebby decides to leave Mississippi State, Charles Huff is my first call. I don't think that's a bad idea. And also, BYU is 7-0, and somehow they're still 11th. I don't think BYU is as good as they were last year, but the AP voters love them some Kenny Dillingham and Arizona State.
Forks up, baby.
Dave's here. So I don't know. One of the teams, I'm looking at the Big 12 standings. Cincinnati came out of nowhere. Texas Tech.
I was surprised by Cincy.
Yeah, that'd be something if Cincinnati ended up, if Notre Dame made it and Cincinnati got a playoff game, we might have to call the contact.
Yeah.
Now that would be
fun.
I mean, they beat the hell out of Oklahoma State.
But who else is beating the hell out of Oklahoma State?
I forgot Oklahoma State is open as well. Who's taking that job?
Zach Robinson's going to take it.
That is if they got to offer it to him.
Well, if they offer it to him, but they got to play quarterback there for how long? 3-4 years.
Looking at the rest of Oklahoma State's schedule, they have to go on the road to Lubbock. They have to go to Kansas. Then they have Kansas State, and then they got to go on the road to UCF, and then they play Iowa State to the finality of it. And speaking of Iowa State, does Matt Campbell pick up the phone for Penn State? Or do you stay at Iowa State in the Big 12? He's been there a long time.
I'd write it out with Iowa State.
Because I think if you're a coach that has fairly decent rapport and has no issues where you're at to where they're not pounding the table to fire you, outside of like the Georgias and the Ohio States, to where the fans can say that they're going to fire you, but they're realistically not going to, unless you completely crater. But if you're Matt Campbell and you win 9 games a year at Iowa State, is there any point in going to Happy Valley to deal with that?
Look at Mike Gundy for how long he was there. 9-3, 10-2. Until
rev share happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't think the old guys could are not the old guys, but the coaches pre-rev share that didn't embrace it, the universities that didn't embrace it, are stuck with this problem. Because now you have to completely try to build your NIL that you commit to doing it now. You're 3 years behind everybody else. Yeah, Dave, you make a good point. Because Wisconsin, put that, I talked about it earlier, but they put that statement out that says, we're going to make a financial push. Well, shouldn't you have been making a financial push when it happened? Like, what are you doing? And
why are you guys playing catch-up ball?
I mean, Ohio State, it took them 2-3 years to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because let me see if I can find it, but I'll pull Fickle's remaining games. And it's not looking good. It is not looking good for Luke. And so the NIL market is smaller now. Players are locked up. Yeah, to a certain extent. The market's smaller than the number you got to raise.
They play at Autzen Stadium Saturday. Then they're off November 1st. Huskies at Madison, at Hoosiers in Bloomington on the 15th. The Illini the 22nd, and row the boat
to end it.
Of Thanksgiving to end it for the Brown Jug. No, Paul Bunyan Axe. No, is that Paul Bunyan's axe or is that the gold? No,
the Brown Jug's Minnesota,
Michigan.
Michigan.
Yeah, it's Paul Bunyan's axe.
So with all of that to say this, how many wins do you see out of that?
It
Can you
looks
just
very bleak for Fickle.
that's what I'm saying. That is the direct correlation between rev share. When you have no rev share, that's what happens. And then they're going to start doing the playoff release party. The whatever you call it, the release show or whatever. Kind of a joke, but
Yeah, it's
just
like Selection
just
Sunday. Just
is that what it's going to be? Because last year it was Tuesday.
was it Tuesday? Was it Tuesday?
Yeah, it was Tuesday.
That's wild. We're almost to that point. Almost. We're halfway through, but still.
It's yeah, Bud Elliott makes a good point here. Bud Elliott says, I really want to go back to a 4-team playoff time when ESPN ran commercials non-stop asking if you were in, which effectively told 60 to 70 P4 fan bases that they were already out of it before the season is shot before Halloween. I mean, realistically, it was.
Yeah.
I don't.
I think they. I mean, are they still talking about going to 18 teams or 14 teams?
They're going to go to 16. I'm just telling you, they're going to 16. Some people may not want to believe that, but I think they're
I mean,
going.
I believe it. I mean, but they just need to stop messing with it and just be done with 16 and have at it. I'm not all for the 16. I thought the 12-team playoff model was perfect, but who are you or I? You know,
Right.
what do we know? What do we know? Because you're not. If they go to 16, they got to push the season up, dude.
The problem you got is that you have, and we'll wrap this up soon. Do the quick hour here, but the problem you have here is that you have teams like Indiana, Vanderbilt putting together and fielding a legit squad. You have the mega powers that cannot figure it out. Like Florida they have not figured it out since Urban left. Tennessee went through 10 years of being a joke, and then when Jeremy Pruitt was basically told them it was his program and they didn't have control like they wanted, they turned themselves in for paying kids.
Putting the dollar bills in McDonald's French fry box.
I mean, how do you think they got caught? I'm just saying, and you're now the boosters at Penn State have kicked off something that they've set off a gigantic cataclysmic domino effect that we may have 20 jobs open by Thanksgiving. Now it's going to save some people.
Right.
It's going to save some people that are like, I don't know if an athletic director that's on the fringe, let's say you're a fringe ACC school, do you go ahead and make the move? If you're Clemson, which I don't think Clemson's going to make a move. I don't think you do.
Dabo have to put up at least 2 or 3 more disappointing seasons. At least
and
2.
I'm talking 8-4, 3-9 seasons.
Yeah.
Or 4-8. Sorry, 4-8, 3-9 seasons. But I'm not tracking it like, and then you're committing money to buyouts that you have a $20 million bill that you're not used to having.
Yeah, and
That's
where's
the
that money going to come? Where's that money going to come when you got to pay all
and,
those buyouts?
and that's my thing, because in
You
30 days,
you can't keep penny pushing your boosters because they're going to get pissed.
oh yeah. And then you have in 30 days, Florida's got to write a check for $10.5 million to Billy, and you're going to have to hire. Let's say you hire James Franklin. He ain't going there for no more than $10 million a year. He ain't going on the cheap.
No, not
Because
with what he's not with what he's accomplished at Penn State. No,
and this is my thing too. I always take it back to the steroid era. You know, the one thing the steroid era taught people and taught me specifically, you know, the one thing that the players did, all the shame and the suspension, you know, the one thing they didn't do, giving you the money back.
nope,
Just saying.
nope.
Because that's what Oklahoma State tried to do. They tried to tell Gundy he needed to take a pay cut, and his agent probably said, whoa, 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 we're not setting that precedent to where you can take money out of the coach's contract for rev share. Hell no, that ain't happening over here, boss. I'll be shocked, and because I attribute it to like somewhere like Baylor, like with Dave Aranda. If you're Baylor, do you want to hop in the coaching carousel? No, because the guy you sell the fan base to probably ain't going to be the guy you really want. But I'm just looking at the LSU thing. I think they could be a corpse by the end of the year.
Yeah,
and
they're going to lose so many kids to the portal.
I mean, they went out and bought a defense. Their defense is legit, but it ain't looking right on offense. I think we end up with 20 openings by the end of the year.
We gotta put that down. You gotta get that on the books.
At least 19 and a half. We're already at 8. And it's not even Halloween yet.
No.
What's it going to look like at Thanksgiving?
I said it's going to be anarchy.
In the people that are making these decisions, Scott Strickland's hiring his third coach. When are we going to hold the ADs accountable? That was my parting message on the earlier show.
It's like rinse and repeat with the NFL teams, dude.
Yeah, but see, the NFL does the whole retread thing. Because typically, if you had a job in the NFL, like, who was it? Adam Gase got fired in Miami. Then the Jets hired him. That doesn't typically happen in college football. Typically, you take the step down, like when Hugh Freeze resigned or got fired, or however you want to look at that. He takes a year off and goes to Liberty. You go to the group of 5. You're to the shadow realm. You're in a city you really don't want to be in. Like,
right.
Like when Kiffin got fired from USC, he took the remaining part of the year off and then ends up with
Bama,
and then he's there for a little bit, and then he ends up at FAU and Boca. And now he's at Oxford. And I think if I'm Lane Kiffin, I can't take getting fired at 50 years old anymore.
Yeah.
Because it completely wrecks your career. And that was the big parting thing of the documentary. He wanted to have a legacy somewhere. Because by the time it's all said and done, he could be the winningest coach in Ole Miss history. And he'll have tons of equity in all of his family's there. There's no issues. Everything's rainbows, butterflies, and My Little Ponies. But I guess my parting message is on this, even though we kind of deviated, I'll stuff this in real quick. Here are the top games for this weekend. Indiana, UCLA, probably, I'd say Indiana blows them out. UCLA gets a little truth serum. Alabama's going to crush South Carolina. I think Texas A&M blows the doors off of LSU. Ole Miss, Oklahoma will be good, and I think Vandy, Missouri will be good.
Yeah.
BYU, Iowa State don't really move the needle.
And Sparty's not going to put up a fight against that team up first. So
You wanna see the difference here? Look at the ratings between Michigan State and Michigan versus A&M LSU. Just wait. I'll pull the ratings for when you're on what, Thursday?
yeah,
I'll pull the ratings for Thursday, and we'll see what we end up with. But as long as there's more coaching stuff, I'm going to do that little show that I do at 5, that I've been doing at 5 the last couple days. But I encourage you to go back and watch the Florida thing, because I think I make some outstanding points there. But I guess with that, Rich, you got anything else?
I got nothing else, Duke.
All right. Well, I guess I thank everybody for watching. Have a good night. Hit that like and subscribe button and help us grow this thing. We will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Take care, everybody. Have a great one.